Everyone has a story. Sometimes that story is hidden in a smile, sometimes in the eyes. Sometimes it leaves a mark, a scar, a birthmark, or an invisible imprint in the heart. But the most important thing is how a person chooses to tell their own story. Alex had never told Lee's story because he thought everyone already knew it. The birthmark on his face seemed to say everything. At least, since others thought that way, he started to believe it at school. When his classmates looked at him, it felt like they only saw his birthmark. Sometimes they whispered, sometimes they laughed. But the worst part was when they said nothing at all. They wouldn't call him to play during recess, even when there was an empty seat in the cafeteria. They wouldn't sit next to him. It was as if Alex wasn't even there. Each day, he felt it more. He became quieter in class, stayed in the most distant corners of the school during breaks, and sometimes just stared out the window, lost in thought. Maybe if he were truly invisible, everything would be easier. One day after school, he went to the park. He was looking down, kicking stones when he noticed someone watching him. An old man sat on a bench, smiling at him. The man had a deep, old scar on his face, but there was no shame in his expression. "Hello, young man," said the old man. Alex nodded slightly, but didn't speak. He was staring at the man's face. The old man said, "People sometimes stare at things they don't understand." Alex flinched and looked away. "I'm sorry," he murmured. The old man smiled at Alex and asked, "You don't need to apologize. What's wrong? Is something bothering you?" At first, Alex remained silent, but then the heaviness inside him became unbearable. In a broken voice, he said, "When people look at me, all they see is my birthmark." The old man nodded gently and took a deep breath. Then he placed his hands on Alex's shoulders and looked into his eyes. "Then you have to teach them to see something else," he said. Alex looked at him in surprise. The man continued, "You know, when I was young, every time I looked in the mirror, all I saw was this scar. I used to think, I wish it wasn't on my face. But one day, someone told me, this scar is proof that you are a warrior, because you learned to live with it. And the people who truly know you will see not just this scar, but your heart." Alex listened carefully. The old man's voice was gentle, but his words were deep. Then I realized nothing in the universe happens by chance. Every leaf on a tree is different. Even stars are not identical. No two snowflakes are the same. But we humans sometimes fear what is different. Yet being different doesn't mean being incomplete. Being different means having a unique story. Alex's heart began to beat faster. You have a birthmark, but it's not your burden. It's your signature. One of the things that make you who you are. You have to learn to love it because it makes you unique. Alex lowered his eyes. But my friends make fun of me. When they look at me, they only see my mark. The old man smiled. Then you have to teach them to see something else. It's in your hands how people see you. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Just a mark, or a brave, strong, and unique child. If you accept yourself as you, our others will too. If you keep your head down, they will only see your birthmark. But if you hold your head high, they will see your courage, intelligence, and dreams. The way you feel about yourself is how the world will see you. Maybe this mark will teach you to see the world differently. Maybe one day it will inspire someone. Who knows? Your birthmark is like the brightest star in the sky. It's different, but very special. Alex's eyes filled with tears, but this time, not from sadness. Something inside him was changing. For the first time, he thought that when he looked in the mirror, he could see not just his birthmark, but his own story. The next day at school, some kids still tried to make fun of him. But this time, Alex just smiled. He didn't want to hide his mark anymore. In art class, everyone had to draw a picture that represented themselves. Alex painted the sky and, right in the middle, a big red star. It was different from the others. It was huge and red, but it was the brightest one. "Why is this star red?" someone asked. Alex smiled. "Because this red star is me. It may be different from the others, but it shines the brightest. And this star has a story to tell." From that day on, Alex no longer saw his birthmark as a flaw. And as his friends got to know him better, they learned that appearance wasn't what truly mattered. And now, the brightest star in the sky winked at Alex.